Maybe Mira turns out to be an upgrade for OnePoint, in which case it's going to enable one of the strongest components of OnePoint to strive even further.
You'll find OnePoint will probably make use of Mira only on particular maps. You will still see them roll with Frost as their go-to Zarya player. The reason they've brought Mira in is because it enables Frost to go and play DPS. So when it comes to wanting to flex things up, they can afford to do that. They're not going to be stuck playing this 3-3, which is kind of what they're known for as a team. So maybe at least on the first point here on Oasis, we'll see them roll through with that. If not, they can afford to change things up later on in the series.
Is that Danye playing the McCree on Oasis?
Oh,
He's going for an asking.
Naga and Danye have just swapped this season. Honestly, like last season, Naga was known for his incredible play, but look at this.
Super aggressive from OnePoint right off the bat. They don't even go for the point. They're already pushing Copenhagen Flames back into their spawn.
The way around, Flames are the ones who are playing incredibly aggressive with that little pick off at the very start. Now they've got to force their way back onto the point though, but these fights seem to be going their way.
They flipped it back around, getting themselves control of that point, get the progress rolling, and put the earnest on OnePoint to be the aggressors onto them.
So punish a little bit for that over-aggression there, but they're immediately going to match things up. They've seen their comp playing against. It's not going to be a 3-3 mirror match here, guys. Time to trade up, so at the very least, we can trade against what Flames have picked out. And taking the hands on the McCree here, it's going to be a rough sky time for Naga.
Well, he's already got 90%, so only 10% more until he gets that barrage. We've seen how Contenders fires go. It typically means a death sentence for them at this point, unless they're in very rare circumstances. And with Frost on the McCree, could show up to be a powerful pick for them to shut him down. But then he's also got to contend with Horfik on the Hanzo, who's also been equally impressive on his DPS options.
All about the McCrees here as well, looking for who gets that first opening pick. We've seen Naga nearly get 3-tapped a couple of times by Frost, but it hasn't really come to fruition. Equally, Danye only got picked up here as well, but Naga's finally going to bring the barrage out, gets 2, 3.
With one of those picks shut down, it has the confidence to pull out the barrage, finds Fat and Frost in order to shut down the fight, and gets a D-Mech onto Brucen. Copenhagen Flames still going strong on this map.
This is where you can start rolling into the ult combos now. Once Molf gets that Graviton Surge online, they can try and win the next 2 or 3 fights as long as they play it sensibly. Dinger's already got the Transcendence online, and Scalar is still 40% away from that point. Brucen's going to switch over to the Zarya, but now you've got to wait a hell of a long time to get that charge online before they can pull out the combo. Definitely
not going to be able to match Molf's Graviton Surge up front. You've got to remember and rely on the different ultimates coming out. Yes, Danye's got that High Noon, but so has Frost. He can have that in his pocket. It's all about how they're going to use him. Incredibly difficult with all the terrain. Graviton Surge pulling them together. High Noon distracts, buys OnePoint some time to get out of the Surge rather than being aggressed on by Copenhagen Flames. There is that Transcendence from Ding, fueling everyone up, but OnePoint haven't taken the bait. They're still off to the side, and now they're getting themselves on the point. Bring out one of their own as Danye finds Frost. It's still in the favor of Copenhagen Flames. Dragon Strike across the map. Just make sure they cannot get onto that point and buy even more time for OnePoint to make something happen. 2 HP for Danye. He's going to go down. It just takes a right click from Brucen. As Horfik removes Naga from the sky. Shatter from Nerf. Takes out Fat, but still has to do some more work with the hammer on his own. Copenhagen Flames still have control. An immediate charge doesn't hit the Tracer, and he's going to go down to Frost, who's on the Agile Assassin. OnePoint on the brink of losing the map. Flip it over.
A very, very scrappy fight, and let's not forget the importance of Copenhagen Flames getting to 99% there. Not only are they in this situation now where they can finally start winning a map, OnePoint, as you said earlier on the Dezachu, if they go 3-1 here today, if they do not 4-0 this, their place is not guaranteed ahead of next week.
All to play for, so immediately keeping the stakes and the pressure on if they drop this first map. And we've seen how often teams will take the control map and then fall to the rest of the series and have a flip. So it's a very high possibility this will happen. Resurrection brings Horfik back, and Malzahar already gone down. Without having that linchpin of a tank, it makes it incredibly difficult.
No.
Grab Surge being thrown out to no result. The flip comes in. OnePoint, Frost, he's jumping on there. Horfik fires back. He's about to get soloed by Graceful while he was channeling his ultimate. Copenhagen Flames have capitalized on mistake after mistake from OnePoint and get themselves that first map.
That was a real panic grab, and I can understand why. You know the other team at 99%. You've got to drop that grab there and give your team a chance to win. But lots of broken combos coming out of OnePoint, like you said, just a few mistakes. And yes, they switched over quite quickly to try and match what Copenhagen Flames were bringing out. They went to the Hanzo and the McCree. Just didn't really pay off for them in the same way. You can clearly see that it was Flames dictating the pace of that first round.
Moving on to Gardens this time around. Potentially seeing more fire play, but in Europe, we like our tanks, so we might end up seeing free freeze played throughout, much to the dismay of impressive fire players like Naga and Danye. Both of them, in fact.
Yeah, we've seen, it's interesting again how we've seen the switch roles so much, because last season, Naga was the go-to hit scan. He was playing Widow, saw him on a bit of Tracer, saw him on the McCree, of course. This season, he's the one hitting all the different heroes that we're not seeing Darnier pick up. They basically switched roles here, but they're both very, very proficient DPS in their own right. Got to see if they've got enough to pull them through this full series today.
You've been to a rock concert, you'll see the walls running at each other already. The charge straight onto Nerf, going to miss him. He's going to try one of his own and misses that one as well. The fight very elongated and the charges are building up for both ultimates. Malzaza not going to hit it. Nerf distracted. The boot was huge to make sure he had time to reposition and protect his team from the shatter.
Malzaza.
The rally's coming in straight into a grab surge. Where's the follow-up? They're running straight into it. Coalescent, Darnier, Naga, they're running in with the high charge and the high power flail whips. Copenhagen Flames going to take control of the point early yet again.
That was a fantastic early scrap, and you saw the block. It was really unfortunate, actually. I think it was Fat who got the boop up onto Nerf. Sorry, the other way around. Graceful got the boop up onto Fat. Onto Malzaza. Names today are not my friend, Tridd.
My days,
but it was that boot because they heard the Earth Shatter and it took an extra 2 seconds to land. So they were like, oh,
look at this
Earth Shatter coming in. They could take have a coffee and then carry on with it. But here they go again. Out comes the ult from Darnier. Immediately
waiting in an aggressive position. Unfortunate placement as he gets charged down by Malzaza. The rally going to be cut short for Copenhagen Flames. They get some armor, but they're not going to get all of it. 1 point, going to take that as a win with the man advantage. Shatter through the shield to take out Horthic as Molt going to be going a little bit low. Sound barrier reinvigorates 1 point as the self-destruct sent to the back. Not going to find anyone, but Copenhagen Flames should be getting rolled over here as the fight continues. They're at a man disadvantage, and Malzaza, he's the one picking up the kills on the Reinhardt for now. Molt levels it out with a kill onto Frost, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And the Coalescence really stagnating. Huge shatter from Malzaza, knocking down multiple members. Going to find Ding to remove another support from Copenhagen Flames. Keeps the fight going. Molfig blinded, finally takes down that Juggernaut as Horthic re-enters the fight with a kill onto Naga. Sitting on the point still, Transcendence keeping everyone alive. Brucen comes in, he's assisting his team, making sure that they're still getting those kills out of Mob. Panicking, having to get away, loses his mech. He should be an easy pickup here for Horthic and Brucen to come in and kill. 1 point, get the flip at around about 80%.
And the reason they're winning these fights, Tridd, is Scalar on that Zen. That extra damage increase, it gives you the 30% damage burst you get onto the frontline tanks. Just means that Flames' frontline is not going to be there for very long. And Scalar with the Transcendence, you can see immediately how that gives them a moment to breathe, to reposition themselves, to get themselves back in a position where they can win this fight. And Flames, I think they lost Ding quite early on. He wasn't there for the majority of that fight on the Moira. Now he's going to have to switch and match Scalar, though, by picking up his own Zen.
Going back in again, using the rally as the crying call as Naga pulls only Malzaza into the fray. The defense is there to keep him alive, yet to drop down, and the team is collapsing around to make sure they don't lose that tank.
Shatter.
Big shatter coming onto the team while they have that opening and a grab shove. Countered out by 1 point. Naga's locked up. Molf and Darnier, they're going to go down. Self-destruct as he gets ejected just to make sure he stagnates the fight a little bit longer as the Transcendence going to be bolstering 1 point. Discord Orb on top of Bruce, and that mech is going to be lost to him. Going for the stun. You've got Darnier in your face. What are you going to do? Turns out you're just going to die off of your own projectiles. Copenhagen Flames looking very likely to flip this one back to themselves.
Lots of pressure coming down on either side as well, but Ding cannot bring this guy down. It doesn't matter how much they throw at him. Lucio is at him. The Diva is at him for a while. Still manages to walk away alive. And yes, he's lost the armor coming through from Darnier's ultimate, but that's back online. So they can now get that super tanky, almost brawler-like Zen back online whenever they want, and Trans isn't too far away.
Zens are terrifying with that armor buff that comes in because you get that armor resistance through the shield as well. That is insane to peel through as Brucen already feeling the burn. Shatter again, and look at him, he's pivoting on a first-person perspective right there in front of them. Going to make sure he tries to get a kill, but it's not going to work out. Malzaza going incredibly low. He's gone down. The tank fight should be won over to Copenhagen Flames. The Graviton Surge pulling them all together. The kill feed is all blue as Copenhagen Flames going to burn even brighter with that oxygenated flame.
All those ults online, they burn through. Flames get their first map win of the season. You cannot write off how monumental that single win is. Not only is it a turnaround for Flames, it also means 1 point cannot go into next week guaranteed a spot in the top 4. Everything's suddenly blown open, Tridd. Our expectations are shattered, as are most of the lineup.
We have the EU curse. We mentioned it briefly in the cast. People can win the control map, then lose the rest of the series. So Copenhagen Flames, great start, but they're not out of the woods yet. They still have a series to play and win. And the 4-0, that's going to put them in the best possible position to fight against all odds and still qualify. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 2 of this series. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. Copenhagen Flames have got their first map win of the season, and it's already having ramifications for OnePoint.
It is in that tough situation now where they cannot guarantee themselves a top 4 spot. This week it's going to come down to the results of next week. What's going to be most interesting is if Flames take this all the way, though, and surpass all our expectations and take this series against OnePoint. But again, we've seen that curse, especially in week 3. Teams win the first map and then just cannot win the rest of the series. So maybe it's the curse taking place on Flames now. This is giving them some false hope, but you can't write them off just yet, because what we finally saw is these 3 separate duos starting to play together as a team. We've been waiting over 2 weeks to see that. Now is the time to really show that it's something that they've got ingrained in them.
And OnePoint weren't underperforming as well. I think they had a very solid game. Like I said, on the first map of Oasis, slightly questionable combo usage and a little bit sometimes out of position from their DPS players. But for the most part, a solid performance put on them. So that's even further, or even more to Copenhagen Flames' credit. Map number 2 on your screens, Eichenwald. We're going to be going hybrid. And this is the moment where Copenhagen Flames can really put the pressure on OnePoint if they get a map win here for them today.
It's time for them to step up. No reference to the clocks on your screen. I'm very curious to see what we see get brought out, because triple DPS seems to be the go-to for a lot of teams, at least on this first point. On the other side, tanks is often the name of the game. You just steamroll through this triple DPS, get to the supports in the backline, shut them down, and nothing else comes of it. But still, OnePoint of the guys that we have seen time and time again just try and barrel their way through with 3-3. It's already been proven not to work on that first map. Maybe now's the time for them to mix things up and show a little bit of flexibility and flair in this roster.
Mirror yet to make a debut on OnePoint as of yet, so they're still keeping Bruceson on the lineup. Shows they're enabling something. Probably going to have to end up taking a quick pause, because we've had a disconnect on the side of Copenhagen Flames, but Danye's jumping back in. So it should be very momentary. Just gives us a little bit more time to talk about how these two teams are going to fare against them. You mentioned already, we're looking towards tank compositions to kick things off. But of course, with Eichenwald, one of the beauties of the map is each stage offers its own primary form of playing the game.
The thing is, they can't really take the Eagle Gaming strategy of running tanks on every single map, on every single point. You do have to mix things up sometimes. I would like to see them try and run dive, because we know again that they've got these 2 very prolific DPS players. What better time to give them a chance to show that on something like this? Danye was the big player last season on the Genji. Naga, his Tracer so far, always been kind of shut down whenever he's gone to try and pick on a Widowmaker. It's not really a fight. Tracer wins when there is a sniper rifle pointed at her head. But maybe today he's got something to show. He's up against Frost, though, who is one of our stronger Widowmaker players here in Contenders.
Molf taking over the fire responsibility. Seems to be the flex tank role when teams are opting to run triple DPS composition. So nice to see he's fitting in with the European meta of what these flex tanks are playing already. Frost goes up and claims the life of Danye. He had no chance to react to that. OnePoint, they've shall we say, been beckoned to the call, and they're going to move further onto the point. They need to actually get their foot on there. The tanks of Copenhagen Flames, however, don't want that to happen. Another shot. Molf has no chance. You can't heal the headshot. The resurrection's already been used by Copenhagen Flames, but it's still on cooldown. OnePoint are going to have a definitive man advantage that can only grow if they start to encroach further onto the point.
It's always my issue with triple DPS is you have no staying power on the point. OnePoint have already taken over here through no contest, and you're just not able to shut down these tankier setups. But Frost is single-handedly controlling this first point.
Needs to get that shot onto Naga, make sure he's not becoming a nuisance any further, but without the scope timing and the power-up, it's going to be harder to get that instant kill. Looking to eye up Ding. Will get hit by a right click, but it won't finish off. Graceful pulls out the pistol, still can't get the kill because the health pack is there for Frost. He's going for the 1v1. The Dragon Strike goes through the point. It's just Nerf sitting in a bubble.
Got him.
What the hell is going on? OnePoint have just been dismantled by just been able to get onto that point and take out Copenhagen Flames.
I don't think we've ever yet seen a full hold with triple DPS on the first point. It just seems to be the way that either teams completely ignore the DPS and go for the supports, or a DPS, like we saw at the very start there, gets picked off by the Widow on the other side. OnePoint, though, going to progress with the same composition, pulling out that ever so popular 3-2-1 comp with the single Mercy healer.
And that is a very high-risk strategy, because typically, if you are running that composition and you lose that primary healer, it's bad news bears, because they just roll over, and already Copenhagen Flames trying to get an edge over OnePoint can't dislodge them from the high ground, forcing out a Transcendence to drop down onto the point and start contesting that payload. And Horfig, he's still up there. He thinks someone's around, and oh, he's found Danye, and a pistol whip to the back of the head sends him back to the spawn room.
3-2-1 is very risky, but if you can keep on pushing forward, it's very hard to flank. But OnePoint making it look easy right now, getting these pickoffs. Graceful is down. They can maybe try and roll the way through here, Tridd, but as it stands, they're still looking to round up some more. But Bruce and our boy in the Diva, he's stepping up.
And so is Horfick. He's just been dancing around this entire time, getting those kills. Bruce obviously taking out Ding is huge. And then Molv, but Horfick, he's been the assassin. He's been the flanker. He's been the shark of this map, using your own analogy from the previous one, Des.
It's exactly what you expect of a Tracer, is while everyone else's attention is divided on the tanks or the bigger, scary members of the enemy team that are diving into your face, you've got this tiny little Tracer in the background with 2 pistols just gunning you down, and your health disappears from 100 to 0. Danya getting picked off there was huge because they lost all of that ground control thanks to the Widowmaker. That's a fantastic drop of stick, but with 300 damage, I was going to say it's not enough, but still gets Danya, who has finally switched over to that Genji we were speaking about.
Please don't tell me he gets away with that as well. Horfick's getting out with 35 HP, going to recharge it again. Malzaza has found Naga, so the dive from Copenhagen Flames isn't as successful as they maybe like it to be. Keeps getting shut down. Molv slides that straight into the pocket to find Scalar in the building, and the rest of OnePoint is still picking up the kills, and Horfick, he's going in for more. Has to back out. He knows he can't deal with the 2v1, especially if that Trace is being pocketed, because the duels are there's so much minutia to them and so many slight advantages you can get, but it doesn't matter. He buys enough time for OnePoint to get that secure and move on to the final point of this map.
OnePoint showing that the King of the Hill curse is very real. As it stands so far, a very, very good push. Left with 4 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock to get in towards this 3rd point. Flames struggling a little bit, and they're changing everything up for this final point. They're going over to that 3-3. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, it depends who you go against about how broken that composition is, because some teams will just run straight into an opposing mirror composition and will be unable to move it. Gonna have another pause. Looks like Danye has disconnected again, so he will be able to get back into it. He was relatively quick last time. I'm assuming the same in this matchup, but that brief pause does bring the tempo of the game down a little bit, allows these teams to communicate and say, right, what do we need to do to fix this? Because at the moment, OnePoint are rolling away with Eichenwald. Copenhagen Flames, once they get Danye back in, need to be like, right, quick, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
They've already had a really good first map playing 3-3, which is why they're switching back over towards it again now. Very curious to see what OnePoint choose to come back out with, though. They've all gone back to spawn. They're completely changing up this 3-2-1 comp they've rolled with so far. It's pretty good in the open situations where you have a sniper to be able to play around, but here inside, Widowmaker doesn't really shine, to be honest with you. So they're going to change things up, and hopefully they have an answer to the 3-3, because as we saw on the last map, wasn't really the strongest fights that we've seen them have so far.
We see a lot of the double snipers still ran in that final section. Also, sometimes teams opt to go for the Junkrat at times to break through the tankier compositions and play around the corner a little bit more. That is something Copenhagen Flames could fall into. I don't think fire is going to be an option for them. You don't want a roof when you're really about being in the air. Plenty of options for them to cycle through to find out what works for them, but they're already being put on the back foot by OnePoint.
The only time you'd want to roll with a fire is when you get a bit of a transition comp coming through and you have time to get in there, use the ult, die, change back and get straight back into the fight again. Jumping on a Junkrat, like you said, can be a big fight winner. We've seen craziness like May come through as a final stall, so there's a lot of options on there for them, but let's see what OnePoint go and change to. Clearly trying to abandon this comp now and thinking of something else. Probably going to try and match them, I'd imagine, on a tank-based composition.
Yeah, and that looks like they're going to run 3-2-1. I imagine Horfick may change over to the Brigitte. There we go. So 3-3, running out of 3-3. Mirror composition to decide it all. Going to hide away from the bridge, not feed that early ult charge. They're going to use the Amber up to move in to the point and start contesting. Couple going over the main door. They're undecisive about which way they want to go with this one. Already getting in the face, and Horfick's just holding down the left click even though no one's in range. Finally going to start doing some work.
Ooh, early
attack from the side. Going to have that come in. They're already backing out. I think they identified the trance as being used. And like, okay, then we'll just save onto ours. We'll back out, let you waste that, and go in when the healing isn't there.
Have no need to fight when that trans is online, so backing out was a very wise idea. Keeping all the members alive as well means that realistically for Copenhagen Flames that was a pretty bad call. I think they were very worried about getting focused down once that Discorder would come down to a key target. Wasn't quite the case, but now they're going back in for another fight, and Frost is not too far away from the grab surge.
Especially when he's at 70 charge, he's hitting multi-band right clicks. He's got it available already, pulls them all onto the staircase. What's going to be the combination they use with this one? It's just going to be raw damage from Malzaza and Horfick and Frost. They've already wiped out Team Copenhagen Flames. Going to go onto the home stretch. It is now time for Stagger and Stall. Copenhagen Flames start throwing everything you've got at this.
Yeah, Ding going over to the Moira as well, just abandoning the Zen there and thinking, look, I'm not going to get trans online. I cannot afford to be on the point on this Zen. Let's go over to something a bit more survivable, you might say. Something a lot more healing to be able to keep us going, but it's still going all the way to OnePoint.
Copenhagen Flames grab surge, immediately met by Scalar's Transcendent Self-Destruct, going to create some clearance from OnePoint. No one's going to be feeling the burn from that one. Danye's pinned in the corner by multiple members. They're just ganging up on them, making sure it's never a fair fight. Still being kept under contention. And he's going to keep forcing on the damage. Looks like Copenhagen Flames are doing all right. Shatter from Nerf brings down Malzahar. Great protective barrier to keep him alive. And they're going to keep on rolling as Horfix starting to take away the tank. Ding finally gets that coalescence, reinvigorates the team. Can he keep him alive long enough for the reinforcements? Because I don't see any blue on that kill feed. Grav Surge pulls him towards the point. It's just Ding left there. They're on the point. Where's the counter? Nerf gets booped out. He's unable to complete the charge as Molt is the only person stopping the completion. And another ult for Brucen in the same fight. Shows how much work that man was doing. 1 point complete Icon Vault.
Nice, good ending fight, and you called out the bubble as well that actually saved Malzahar's life. That was big for them because him remaining in that fight meant that it wasn't going to turn into a 5 versus 6. They kept all 6 members alive, and you saw Horfix popping off on the Brigitte as well and just getting countless picks time and time again. It's the small things like that, Tridd. The small micro plays that can essentially win the whole thing for a team, and 1 point really showing true grit towards the end of that.
Had another disconnect from Darnier, but he's back. He's back again. The excitement of the game is causing network issues. I don't know how that works, Des, but apparently it does. You
tell me. Bit of a security kind of guy?
No, I left uni. I never got my degree, my friend.
Did someone ask you that question? Like, can network have impact on excitement? Or can excitement of the game have an impact on network? And you're like, I have no idea. I'm leaving now. I'm done. Maybe
if you were looking at a social engineering orientated attack, you might be able to do it with excitement. I don't know. But we're here to talk about Overwatch, not how bad my antivirus is.
And one thing we can talk about is 1 point rolling out with the 3-2-1 in defense. So one of the first times in a while that we're going to see a non-triple DPS setup coming out for the first point defense. Lots of teams really like it because of the angles. You can play around that center tower. Your Tracer's got a lot of safe angles to hide behind when she's done trying to blitz through your support line. Copenhagen Flames, though, they can either try and match it or then come up with something a bit more creative. We've seen dive as the big answer for a lot of teams. Again, you just ignore what you can and get into the back line and try and bring down one of the supports, or the only support in this case. Biggest problem is you got a Roadhog in your way. He gets a grab onto one of those diving heroes. They are guaranteed to die because the focus fire from 1 point will be far too great.
Speaking of Roadhog grabs, I think that's what Copenhagen Flames are going to go for. The 3-2-1, the Hook-Holt combination, very important to roll with this one. You get that one pick, you can turn the tide of the fight, especially when 1 point are running a similar composition. If whoever's Mercy dies first in this fight will decide how it goes.
I don't like 1 point rolling this out with the fire on side as well because you want Fat to be up there pocketing him, but Fat's job is to keep the tanks alive, so Horfix is very much so left out to dry, and he's got to deal with the potential threat of a grab, he's got to deal with the Diva Matrix, he's got to deal with Darnier, who was on the Widow, now switching over to the Hanzo once they've seen what's on the other side. I'm just concerned about his longevity in these fights.
Already advantage to Copenhagen Flames. Scaler has gone to the grave. Darnier sent him there. Looking up high into the sky, Hook comes out, unable to land it, so wait a couple longer for that section to come in. Holt going to pull everyone together, no one's touching the point just yet, looking for more of an advantage. Naga finding Frost, that's 2 bodies, they have a point. Malzahar has been hooked in, immediately deleted by Darnier. Now he's looking up for Horfix, won't find him, reinforcements come in. But it's not going to be enough to get the kill onto Farah, but they are on the point. The 3-2-1 risk paying off for Copenhagen Flames.
I think Fat's going to be signing up to solo Mercy mains anonymous because at this stage, that stress that you get as a Mercy player, you've got to look out for your Farah in the sky, you've got to go down and heal your tanks. The biggest problem for 1 point was that Flames just always ignore whichever target he was healing. They'd turn to the ground if he was healing Horfix and focus on Horfix if he wasn't being healed by Fat. It just kind of shows the stretch that comes through by having the team so separated. It's often why you don't see Farah coming into these kind of comps, and I have absolutely no idea what that was.
I think that was to make sure that they weren't getting harassed as they pushed up to the gate, make sure that they can't... I don't agree with the usage, Des. I'm just trying to explain how it might have been a selective choice to send it up there, just to make sure you don't have Horfix raining down rockets before you even get through that gate.
They did change off, to be fair, so I can kind of half understand your reason, but it seems like a very big waste rather than just throwing it through the gate itself. But Darnier, he's showing Frost who's boss on this Widowmaker.
And now he's trying to show who... He's also trying to employ Horfix. If he can get that headshot there, make sure he understands that he is the one who's calling the shots. But it's going to be graceful picking up the kill. I believe that was in Valkyrie form. Very hard to hit the Mercy when she's flying around with that pistol out. Just about shy of the bridge for Copenhagen Flames, matching a very similar time to what 1 point were able to manage on their offense. So still looking promising for this Danish lineup.
Maybe that's when Greatsoul's most happiest, when he's Battle Mercy, because you've got the healing to make you tanky, you've got the damage because you're Battle Mercy, and of course you're a support all in one. It like fits the guy so perfectly because he plays all 3 roles. It isn't just support that he's always bound to. But 1 point now got to try and at least stave off this offense from Copenhagen Flames.
Danny's already found forfeit. Naga going very low, using the recall, regen all that health. Play around the payload, get behind the shield. You've got two beefy tanks right next to you. Why not use them? Self-destruct right behind the shield. Throws in the pulse bomb. Beautiful kill by Naga to find the double onto Brusen and Scalar. Molf is just there for the rest. Copenhagen Flames gonna break down this door, move on to the final stage with 5 minutes in their time bank.
Fantastic presence of mind from Naga as well. As soon as he saw the opportunity of the mini diva outside of the mech and supports grouped around him, was like, hey, this is a few easy kills. This is our final push in towards the 3rd point if we manage to win this one. And it was just nice and clean and clinical. Molf even managed to chase the retreating members all the way through and pick off some more. Now, 1 though, they've got all the work to do. Like you say, 5 minutes on the clock. Can they hold out for at least 3 to try and bring this a lot closer to what their time back looks like?
Even the best of teams will find this a very tall order to match. But how much time they burned down on already, they're looking to burn through the tanks. Nerf gonna find Fat and Danye, graceful and nerfed again, all moving around this payload. Gonna take out Malzasa just to finish it off. With a team kill, they are putting 1 on that back foot again.
1 managed to get the Discord down onto Nerfed, and as soon as they saw that come through, as soon as they thought Naga had burned both of his bubbles, they were charging straight in. But great play by Nerfed, he pulled back, and as the rest of 1 surged towards him, the other 5 members of Flames are like, oh hey, you're sandwiched between all of us, how about you die now, and completely clean them up. Really good defensive play in this 3-3.
Just need to have the slow crawl to complete this map, and the Transcendent's going to make it even slower for Copenhagen Flames. Nice block from Nerf, going to make sure the Earth Shatter has no impact. Will find a D-Mech and a kill with a huge shatter of his own to follow up. Nerf has knocked everyone down. It's Ding playing Assassin. What can you expect from the man? Oh, just shy there with the hammer and the charge. Gonna pull it into the Graviton Surge as Naga again. Double kill from Brusen. Gonna try and level it out. It's a 2v2 on the payload, but the reinforcement from 1 will surely come faster. That's an exposed Scalar. Keep jumping in there, trying to get that robot. Forfeit gonna shut him down, so 1 not ready to let this map be completed just yet.
The first convincing defensive fight we've seen come out of 1 on their defensive round against Flames. You've got a minute and a half yet for Copenhagen Flames to be able to not so much make mistakes, but they'll be forgiven for their errors if it comes down to it. 1 their ultimate bank is looking pretty empty right now. They're relying almost exclusively on the sound barrier. Kind of the same story for the other side, but Molf is looking towards that self-destruct. Going to try and get the tanks to turn around so they can really surge forward.
Well, sound barrier to kick things off for the fight already. Malzahar going really low. Nice save from Fat, just comes a little bit too late to save out his tank line. Naga picking up Horpic, even despite the sound barrier to keep them all up. That shield's going to go any second now, and it's already gone for 1 Rest of moving forward. Frosty's on high energy. He can get a grab surge and potentially keep 1 in this still. But the kills are still looking blue. Grab surge pulling them together. Transcendence is there for them. No one caught in the grab surge by 1 so they've started to get the kills around anyone who would be in it. 1 with the reinforcements coming out from their base, keep themselves in this map.
With that, should at least have a healthier time bank than what's going for the other side right now. It's a bit of a tough one for 1 They're trying to find the opportunity, I think, to convincingly win these fights out, and yes, they are doing so. Flames making more mistakes than at 1 it feels in some of these fights, mind you. A couple of times with the grab surge there was no follow-up on it. It was a single grab surge. There was no tank to swing away. There was no explosive ult to follow it up on. That was the big error, but now Flames have got the chance to make a push. They've got the trans online. Scalar is nowhere near it.
Ult economy is huge, but it doesn't matter how good your economy is if you've been shattered into the ground. Nerf is missing, and the Transcendence seemed like a wasted opportunity for Copenhagen Flames. They've thrown away their advantage as 1 have identified they can now capitalize on Copenhagen Flames and force them out. They are missing out on their pushes because they are wasting ultimates when they can't complete the set plays.
That was really unlucky because the intent was there from Flames to make the big play, but Nerf with the Earthshatter online died before the Transcendence came out, so it did not matter. Ding, sadly, a little bit of a waste. A bit of miscoordination between the team. They've now got 1 minute and 30 to go. This could be the second or the penultimate push they've got to go with Tridd, or if this lasts long enough, it might just be their final one.
At 1 they've got the big bang in their pocket. There's the big. Where's the bang? It's right in front of the shield. The charge comes through. Triple for Brusen as Nerf gets taken out by the charge. 1 going to reset Copenhagen Flames again. And the ult charge advantage going over to Flames now.
Just trying to stagger out Molf a bit here. They will still get at least 1 more fight. That was over a lot quicker than what I expected. I would have thought 1 it would have tried to let them push in a bit more before going for that big combo. But they pull it out straight away, and with the Giganti special, get the charge through onto the tank. That was the big difference in that let Brusen get the triple kill.
Copenhagen Flames, 3 ults in their pocket. They've got a Shatter, they've got a Graviton Surge, and they've got the Sound Barrier when things go sideways. 1 both defensive ults enabled for them. should be able to survive whatever Copenhagen Flames throws at them already. Sound barrier, they're going aggressive. They don't even want to let Copenhagen Flames get anything done. There's the shatter, the grab surge, the sound barrier. Ding's got to transcend it. Multiplying to triple. They're making something happen here. But the payloads move further and further back. They're not going to complete off the back of this. Where is the counter attack from OnePoint? They're all going to rush out the spawn after a team kill.
Good presence of mind there as well, because for a second it looked like it was done. It looked like with that combo they would not be able to get the self-destruct in time, but Nerfed immediately was like, right, Earthshatter on top of this, make sure they stay pinned in place. He caught every member, and that was another triple kill. This could be it though, Tridd.
Shatter comes out, Transcendence keeps Copenhagen Flames alive. Danye's playing Reaper this time around, should be able to burn through the tanks incredibly fast, and Mausasa already feeling that effect. So he's in the spawn room, but they're not getting enough kills to stem the flow of the reinforcements. Nerf picks up Horfik. Danye again getting rid of Brusen. Nerf with the charge. Morphic getting a kill. Danye still dancing around the payload. Mausasa comes back just to die again. Frost gets burned through by the Reaper. They're going to complete the map, but they're going to do it in overtime.
No one expects the Reaper, and we've already seen what he does to tank compositions. He absolutely tears them apart. So a nice final switch up there as well. A nice presence of mind once again to change off what they were already running to make sure they definitely had that last fight in the bag without any ultimates.
Okay, so there's a potential for a tie on this map now. You don't understand how the draw mechanics work. If you're just tuning into Overwatch for the first time, OnePoint are going to get a chance to attack with 1 minute 42. As long as they get 33% of the capture on that point A, they will win the map. If they fail to do so, the map becomes a tie. And at that point, we're going to stay with a 1-0 scoreline going into the half. Effectively, the next two games are treated as a best of 3.
Need to see something creative coming out of both sides here, I think, Tridd. We've already seen the triple DPS. Not really the most solid setup. 3-2-1 equally not so solid. Frost definitely saw to that comp falling down when they had the Pharah on side. So maybe here we've got to see Flames mixing up once again. They're going to go with this kind of setup they got here. They're going for the same setup again. 3-2-1 seems to be the name of the game, but this time they've dropped the hands out. That's the big change for me, because Frost will not have the free fire onto the Pharah in the sky.
And also the best advantage that Copenhagen Flames can get out of this map is a tie. OnePoint missing out on crucial map wins. It won't count towards them if it's a draw as well, so it keeps pushing both of these teams further and further away from their objectives from this series.
I have a feeling Holt's playing on the Sombra here to get a scout, and if they choose to go for an EMP combo, it's not something we've seen for a long time. Idea being you get that charge up as quickly as possible. Looks like no, it will actually be the scout out. They should change up here as well and mix things around. They've got a couple of members still lurking by the looks of it. There we go, Mausasa from the Orisa, straight away switching onto the Ryan, and Scaler is going to go over to the Moira.
Yeah, and Horfik going to follow up with that change over to Brigitte. So it's a 3-3 composition for OnePoint. 1 minute 20, so they burnt 24 seconds doing that, but when the time is so finite, it's okay to burn that if you're getting the information, so you're not hitting your head against a brick wall and having to change after you charge up ultimates for heroes you're ultimately not going to use.
Exactly, trying to go for this little flanky strat here, straight onto the point. We've seen teams employ this last week. It was pretty successful overall. There was no real response. We saw the supports get bowled over. Let's see if OnePoint can make it happen.
Jumping straight onto the point, going to weave into the Hunter's Lodge. Make sure they clear everyone out of there. Want to get on the point, but this time they got on Orisa to stay down there. Triple DPS isn't in play for Copenhagen Flames. Mausasa takes out Ding. One support down already. They got 45 seconds to finish this off, and Naga already harassing them. Going to break through that shield very quickly. They emerge onto the point, using the amp it up. The Holt's going to pull them together. Supports are together for Naga to spray down, but can't get through them. Brusen going to find Danye. Pulse bomb available for Naga. Coalescence going to tear through him. Waits off to the side, throws it into the middle, sticks the mech. Not even going to get the D-mech from that one, as Ding is ready to die again, but it's Nerfed who goes down first. They've got control of the point, so close to victory. A couple more kills should do the job. OnePoint gonna get this cap if they can just finish off the D.Va. 6 players there. OnePoint tie out the series going into the half.
The first map curse is well and truly alive, pulling it back now, bringing it to 1-1. Great start, well, great result for both sides, you've got to say. You never would have written it down to being this at the half-time. But Ding, I feel for you there, my man. They were on a Ding hunt, and they made sure they found him. They did a full circle around the point. It was like, there's the Zen, let's kill him. And once he was dead, well, they basically had control of the fight from there. So good stuff, actually. I really like, again, that we saw a different strat coming out of OnePoint to make sure they secured it, even if 30 seconds were burnt at the start going for the scout.
Yeah, and I agree with the decision to go for that scout. They can run the triple tank, the 3-3, knowing that they didn't have a Pharah to contend with from the scout from Horfik. 20 seconds well spent to make sure they weren't wasting any time. Were able to complete the map, therefore they got themselves that extra map win. So we're going into a tied series at the half. We're going to throw it over to our analysts, and we're going to get their take on what's happened so far.